In today's episode, I want to finally fix the layout of my town. So, here it is behind me, and here is all of the stuff that I have cleared so far. I think that should be good to get the idea of what I'm looking for. We'll see. But first, what we have to do is load up MS Paint. So instead of going into Photoshop, I went into the next best thing, which is GIMP. GIMP is the photo editing software that I use to do all my thumbnails. So if my thumbnails look particularly good, that's why. But if they also look particularly bad, that's definitely also why. So this is a couple of screenshots that I took from my world of a little higher up. And I can go through the layers a couple times to show you the different angles that I've got. So got that angle, there, and there. So what I'm going to do is kind of draw around where I think I want all of the paths to go. And maybe mark off where I think specific buildings should be, or maybe more districts, I guess would be the more appropriate term. So the quality isn't great with the zoom in, but it is doable. So what I'm thinking is originally I was thinking I could have like a castle here and maybe like a keep, or I guess that'd be like a Motte and Bailey. I don't know. Castles are a thing. I don't know the names though. So what I'm thinking as of right now is, while it'd be cool to have the castle right here, unless I built up the area around it, which I'm not against doing, the castle itself I think would be kind of small. So what I'm considering is actually taking the castle and putting that around here. And then I've got like a little entrance point, towers, I guess. As far as the path through the town, that I think is going to be the main issue. So currently, I'm thinking that what I'm going to do is have the path come from over this way, so that it's like there's an ocean just over here, and I think if I bring the path through here, that would bring it kind of towards the castle, and I could maybe do like a checkpoint or something over this way, and then I could bring the path kind of around here, down there, and then maybe coming through this way, going back up here, kind of like that. That's a thought. And then from here, obviously I've got other things connected around here, so I probably want to bring another pathway kind of through there. I think that having the cathedral at the very end of the route is probably not the best idea. So let's see. I'm hesitant to make a second church, but I'm not against it. I want to do something with this area up here. I could do... Another thought is to bring this land out a bit more and kind of step that all the way around there. Do the castle kind of around here, and then that could be a more general walled off area. So then from here, I want to separate it into at least 2 districts, maybe even 3. So I've kind of got a bunch of work stuff on this side, which it'll have to work because I think those are kind of permanent at this point. But what I'm thinking is probably doing farmland over here. Maybe this thing around here could be like the military base of operations. That, or it could be kind of like a nicer part of the town. Maybe the wall kind of comes down and connects to that as well. And then as far as the outskirts go, I'm kind of thinking towards the outside, especially around the farm and around the work sites, it's going to be kind of lower end places. Man, this is tougher than I thought. I'm kind of thinking the other option. Take this mound and kind of make it a little more uniform, so it's not quite as kind of weird. Maybe I'll bring the base layers all the way back to the mountain and build the castle up here, because I do like the idea of the castle being in the center. I've kind of had that idea in my head for a while now, ever since I started rethinking about how I want to situate this. The idea of setting it up here was kind of just trying to take the rest of the scope of the area into consideration, but I just don't think that's going to work for me. So this way I can have sort of north, south, east, and west gates from the castle keep. I'm going to stick with that word. And that way I can kind of have a couple of different routes going in and out of the city. So this old growth spruce taiga, I think is what that's called, I might not have full-on roads through it because that feels very, again, old growth, so I'm thinking of leaving that one alone. As far as the trading goes, this kind of has already been set up to be my trading outpost, which kind of makes sense for this side because this also kind of goes right off and into a river that goes into the ocean. Also comes this way. I think I'm okay with that. I'll decide one or the other, or maybe both. I don't know. And then as far as this goes, I do still like the idea of having the farmland generally over here. Or maybe that kind of comes out a little farther. So this path over here, that would come kind of down here, down the side, because I've kind of bottlenecked this side, unfortunately, due to unforced errors on my own part. So that'll come up this way, and I think that will come here. That can meet up with that road. Unfortunately, I think the barn is probably going to have to go. I might even take down my bee nest. I would really like to not remove the ruins, but I'm not against it if it means that I will have a beautiful city in the end. So, we'll see. So that could come kind of this way, kind of down here. This would be the farms, the village, lower end stuff kind of going this way. And that could circle around here. And maybe over here is more middle class. Is that even a thing in medieval cities? Is that a thing? So let's have path there, path there, path there, and there. So that can come in there. The mill really should have been over here, but it's too late for that, I think. And I think what I might do is just kind of from here, the closer to the outskirts of town you get, the closer, or the more degraded the town is itself, the more rundown it is. Could definitely do that. Or do I even need rundown sections of town is the thing. This feels significantly more cohesive than the other version. So I think I'm probably going to go with something a little more like this. That can go off that way. Maybe we'll have a path that leads through the fields that way. This kind of feels like it could work. So I'm okay with doing some terraforming, but I do want to keep generally the things that are there. Like, I don't plan to flatten this mountain off entirely and turn it into, an area that I can build something, because I just don't feel like doing that right now. Maybe eventually that'll be a thing, but as of right now, I think I'm just going to stick to generally working with the terrain, although that does probably limit myself more, but I'm also one that set myself up in the middle of a whole bunch of stupid mountains. So as far as the paths themselves go, I don't want to do grids because I don't have enough space for that to really be impressive. And for the time period that I'm kind of going for, I think it should really follow the sort of peaks and valleys of the terrain itself. So I think that means that there would be this might get kind of flattened a little bit around here, but that means that that's right, I'm going to bring that ground up here. So that means that there would be probably a natural path that would come kind of along this way, and at some point it would go up onto this, which would then kind of have its own natural thing. As far as this area goes, so let's see, redrawing that part, I would have this kind of come here, around there, and this would make its way up the hill, kind of come around the outside, stick more to the inside. Over here, this area is generally pretty flat, actually. I mean, there are a couple of small hills, but that'll probably get changed drastically. So as of right now, I'm kind of thinking I would try to make natural paths for where I think people would probably like to go, which makes things kind of difficult because I'm the only person there. I think this path doesn't actually make any sense, so I'm going to go ahead and cross that one out because it's going farther up the mountain than necessary just to come back down, and I think it would probably be that they would actually go around that and come up the side here, and that would lead straight to the castle and also to whatever district we want to call that. And maybe we could do I don't know, on the outskirts by the old growth trees, maybe we could do covered wagons or something, or I don't know. Well, after tinkering around a little bit more, I think I figured out what I'm gonna do. So this is the first map we had, and it wasn't a bad idea, but I think after I spent a little bit more time on it, I got a better idea, which you saw this, and the final version is kind of this. I'm going to bring the terrain out from about here, build the castle around there, and then you'll have kind of 5 different exit points. This one is going to be a lot of fun, I think, if I ever get to it. We'll see. But as of right now, I think this is what I'm going to do. So for now, what I'm going to do is actually go and kind of try to lay down a little bit of the path so that I can see it in the world to see if this is actually going to be kind of what I want to do. So let's go and do that. And welcome back to the world. I went ahead and marked out where I think I want the upper level to be. So I think that's going to be good. I think at least this way I won't have underestimated the amount of space that I need for this area. So this is all on, I think this is 103. Yes. I did consider bringing this all the way out because that level could go all the way around and that would be just fine. But I think having it here, I can kind of gradually slope this area down or do something with it. So I think that'll be good. The amount of terrain change, I think, will be a good thing. The elevation, that is. Next, I think I want to work on a little bit of the pathing, though. And I'm going to start from over here. So, assuming that they're entering from this side of the forest, I think it's going to come around here. That is probably going to get filled in. And I think a lot of this village might end up going away as well. If not all of it, actually. From here, I think I'm going to have one path that goes straight towards the castle. And another one that goes, rather than into the castle, directly into the town. So I think we'll try forking that off from here. Let's go ahead and start from this side as well. So at the beginning of this world, I talked about how I think I kind of want to integrate the facets of Minecraft into the world building for the town. And one of those is going to be nether portal travel. So I think we'll just start from the beginning of this area. That'll make things easier. And we'll say, so basically I'm thinking I'm going to have a giant nether portal over here, maybe at like Wizard's Tower or Wizard College thing that's controlling it or set it up or something. I don't know. But for now, we're going to bring it in. And it's going to come straight down here. And here. And then kind of go off here. Okay, maybe we got that town square here as well. I decided to leave some of the town square markings just so that I knew where some of the markings were that I originally had laid out. I don't know if I'll use them, but at the very least, if I don't, I will at least know where they were, I guess. And let's see, I think I had this one come around here and down there. I'm very glad that I'm actually doing this because I have been putting it off for so long. Possibly a month, to be honest. If not a month, definitely weeks for sure. Just, you know, clearing the space, trying to figure out what I want to do. And the entire time, absolutely terrified that I was going to, you know, make another mistake, like lay out things that I knew were going to have to get changed or something like that, and then just, you know, mess up my progress from there as well. Okay, so actually here, farmland. Where do I want that to be? I think I had said it was going to be around here. That feels kind of small. So let's actually take this back a little bit. Say to there. We're doing this in wool. It's not permanent, so we'll just leave it how it is now. But yeah, I was absolutely terrified of making any kind of mistake of, you know, putting down blocks that I was like, oh no, I unintentionally screwed myself again with the layout. I think I've come too far to the side, but that's fine. And kind of entered a state of analysis paralysis is probably the wrong term, but pretty close to that. Of just like, I know that I'm going to probably mess up this layout in some way. And the fact that I know that I'm going to means I don't want to do it in the first place. And that is not a good way to do things. You actually can't do things that way. That's kind of how that works. All right, so we're going to lead out to this direction here. Okay, I think that's 4 of the 5 exits planned. Yeah, I think I'm going to have that swoop in a little bit further this way, but for now that's fine. This path also is going to follow kind of closer to the forest, kind of skirting around the town itself, unless I end up building some out here as well. The point of my TED Talk today is that you are going to make mistakes, and unfortunately, you're just going to have to deal with that. It's part of the process is trying something, finding out that it didn't work, and trying to fix it, or starting over, but, you know, starting over with the knowledge of what you did wrong the first time. So, let's see. What do we got? Okay, I think I want that to come a little bit further over, but for now that's fine. So it's kind of hard to see from up here just because they're individual wool blocks, but it is visible, and I think I like the overall layout. Now, unfortunately, and someone in the video where I talked about messing up the layout pointed out that at least some of the buildings are probably going to have to go. Most of them I think are fine. The two that I think are a problem is the barn and whatever this thing is. I can never remember. It's the bee farm and bone meal farm. Unfortunately, I just think that's not going to work. I would like to keep those. I'm going to figure out something that I can do with that. And if you have ideas, let me know. Because I'd like to keep it because I spent an amount of time doing it. But if it has to go, it has to go. I've decided that I'm putting the beautification of the city and the area first. So if it's in the way, it's in the way. Obviously, that'll go away at some point. I still need a path around this side of the castle. Kind of mark out where I think that's going to be. So I would kind of like it to be centered with the cathedral. I just think it'd be really cool if that was the case. I don't necessarily need to center the castle on that, but I would like at least a main portion of it to be sort of on that. So let's take a flyby. So what I'm doing right now is checking from all the different angles to make sure that that's not going to feel a little too lopsided. And I think we're going to be good. So maybe we could have like a main central tower coming up here. Man, it's crazy that like, look at my render distance right now. 24 chunks. Even if I bump it all the way up, the edge of where I'm thinking about building is still barely in render distance. I don't know if that's gonna be a good thing. That's realizing that that's the scale is gonna be okay. Yeah, so a central tower or something, or maybe even not necessarily a central tower, but a main tower, and the rest of it can be kind of over to the side. Okay, so this is why I was doing this, because flying around, I wanted to see if it looked too far to one side on any of the angles. So from here, it feels a little too far as of now with the natural terrain. So I will probably have to shift this side of the hill back and this side of the hill over, but that's not too bad. It's a good thing I've got a lot of dirt. Man, the ability to fly really does make you realize just how small your world is. You know, looking at the sight line here, I think actually having it off to the side would be a better idea. As much as I like the idea of having all of the important buildings in a very straight line, I think having it off to the side would actually give you a little bit better idea of perspective, maybe? I think that's the word. Honestly, I think that pillar is probably where the main castle pillars should be. Pillars? Not pillars. Towers. Yeah, that just feels good. That just feels right. Okay. And then something you kind of saw in the drawings that I made. I'm also planning on doing, maybe not as close to the forest as I drew it, but somewhere, I don't know, maybe like back here, having two towers with not really a gate necessarily, just like a checkpoint, so that you can kind of see if there's a problem coming in from any of the directions. I think that'd be cool. Overall, I think this layout's going to be a lot better. For instance, with the lumberyard where it is, it kind of makes sense. It's on the outskirts of what's going to be the actual town itself. And it wouldn't be too difficult to actually go out and, drag trees back or whatever. Cart them back, maybe? I don't know. Well, I have made a couple of changes to the layout. Mostly just changing the color of things, honestly. Because I found that the red really didn't stick out too well on the maps for some reason. Which kind of surprised me. We got the guard checkpoint thing. There we go. Man, that is tiny. I must have written too much on that thing. And the last one is going to be up here, marking out that this is obviously going to be the castle. Now that looks a lot better. Okay, so up here we're going to have wizard thing with the portal in it and the portal frame and all that. That's going to be fun to do. We got the little guard tower / checkpoint things around the outside, which will be cool. Got the castle in the middle, obviously. Now, one thing that I'm thinking about doing is actually kind of switching, because originally I was going to have the farms over here, but it kind of I don't know. It feels like this is actually going to be a better spot overall for like the farms and things. So what I might do is put the farms here and then have maybe nicer areas kind of going around this way. I'm not sure. I haven't quite decided that yet, but I think we're a little ways off from there anyway. So unfortunately, that's all I got for now though. So thanks for watching. I've been Chuck Ross. I'll see you guys next time, and bye-bye.